What is going on, everybody? Front and Center Ice here, brought to you by Run Pure Sports. I'm your host today, Nate Zafai, brought to you live by Tanner Smith. Tanner, how are we doing?
Not too bad. How's everything going over there?
It's going good, going good. Two-man booth today. Matty's got an appointment going on. He might be joining us sometime throughout the stream here. And then Zargo is also has prior obligations, but we're still going to pick the winners, two-man booth style. But overall, good. How's your slate last night? Your bets? How'd everything go?
Terrible. The Flyers have my number lately. Travis Konechny is just giving it to me every single time I bet against the Flyers. Killed me on that one. I thought the Predators could have pulled that one out too, and they gave a goal up with like a minute 15 or something like that. Saros had to make the diving effort, but yeah, last night was a bad night. But that's what happens with some of those smaller slates, and you got to pick and choose with what you can. You got a gigantic slate tonight, so there's definitely gonna be something here.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it. 12 games on the docket today. We'll try and fire through it as quick as possible here. Two-man crew should keep it a little quicker. But further ado, let's jump right in. First game I'm looking at here is Seattle Kraken facing Boston. Boston is at home here, coming in on a 4-game winning streak. Kraken heading into Boston on a 6-game winning streak. So two teams that are rolling pretty good here. It looks like Boston's minus 235 favorites here, over under sitting at 6. What are you seeing in this one, Tanner?
Honestly, for the value you're getting for the Kraken with how they're playing, plus 195 isn't a terrible play at all. I mean, you're getting minus 120 for them to cover plus 1.5. I think for the value you're getting there, I don't mind that at all. I mean, Boston's been an absolute wagon this season against all odds. I mean, they've lost 3 games at home or something like that, or no regulation losses. I can't remember exactly what the number is, but they're just playing out of this world. But I think, like I said, given the value here, you can definitely take some of the Kraken stuff here. But I don't think this is as surefire of a win for Boston as the Vegas odds might be saying it is. I just always like the Kraken just because they get it done from, it seems, every single line. I know it makes them a pain on the DFS side of things, but betting wise, it's just they're consistent for a couple of goals. I mean, they've been lighting teams up lately, averaging 5 goals a game over their last 5. So they've just been pumping people lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you said it. I mean, if we're gonna look at a dog here, I mean, you're getting almost 2-1 money here in Seattle. It's hard to bet against them. I know our boy Nuggets here in the chat's not gonna like any Seattle slander here with his boys taking on them. But what's going on, Nuggets? Hopefully you're doing well. But it's hard to discredit what they're doing, right? I mean, this Kraken squad is kind of shaking the league by surprise here a little bit, coming in after last year, kind of with obviously the new team, the new addition, and they're putting stuff together. They're scoring. The only issue is, like you said it, right? They have 4 lines that can score. I mean, you got Daniel Sprong sitting on the 4th line scoring goals every other night, it feels like. Which makes it hard on the DFS side, right, from a correlation standpoint. Overall, I think on the DFS side of things, both teams are obviously great offensively, but both teams' respective home road here are good defensively as well, right? I mean, both of them are bright red. I take a look at my sheet. Seattle is only allowing 2 goals per game here on the road last 5, which is obviously partial to their 6-game winning streak, right? So in terms of DFS at the price tag, especially on the Bruins, I don't know if I can get there. Obviously, certainly, if I was going there, I would go to their top power play, just the big dogs, right? Hope the big dogs show up here at home in a pretty favorable matchup. I would say the best matchup in this game is definitely that power play for Boston. But overall, not too much I can get behind here. I think it's more of a stay away spot. Again, you can play the big dogs, and that's where I'm at. Grab some value here with some of the Kraken guys, like a Yanni Gord or something like that. But outside of that, not too much. Matty Beniers is making
he's been on fire this year.
Yeah, he's making a case. I believe he's a rookie, right? He's making a case for Rookie of the Year here. He's 4.8K. Not a terrible play there, but overall,
he's been so good.
Yeah, overall, not too much I'm interested in. So We will move on to the next game I'm looking at here, Tanner, is Winnipeg Jets heading into Buffalo to face the Sabres. Both teams, Sabres coming off back-to-back losses here. Jets heading into Buffalo as a favorite, actually. So minus 130 favorite I'm looking at, traveling into Buffalo. And they're also on drop the last game here. What are you looking at? Over-under sitting at 6. Should be an up-and-down game here.
This is a tough one
here.
for me. Yeah, these are two of my favorite teams to bet on here. I mean, the Sabres light it up almost every single night. Anytime you give me the Jets at home, I'm on them. Obviously, they're on the road here, but yeah, like you said, this should be a very up and down game. I mean, every game the Sabres play, they play an up and down game. So you're getting UPL in that for the Sabres again, even after they sent him down to Rochester, they pulled him right back up. So he's been okay in that. But I mean, if you're giving me an over 6.5, you get minus 120 for that. I don't mind it either way. I can't really say I can pick a winner in this one. I can see Winnipeg's let me down a few times. I mean, Detroit the other day, they just got Hellebuck let in 7 or 6 goals with an empty net or something like that. So I do trust him in that, but the way the Sabres offense has been flying, it's tough to know what kind of game we're going to get here. I mean, just even look at some of the goal scoring props here for some of these guys, like Tage Thompson shooting on Hellebuck, you're getting plus 110 still, stuff like that. Kyle Connor, you're getting minus 105. So I definitely think this is going to be a higher scoring game. I mean, Winnipeg's shown, especially now that they got guys like Ehlers back and Perfetti and all that, they can definitely light the lamp. So instead of picking a winner, I think if you really want something here, the over 6.5 is a good place to go. I'm not quite sure if I take that one or not, but I definitely think that's an option.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. We've seen Winnipeg is gotten their boys back. Ehlers is back there, and they're. I mean, that PLD Ehlers and Connor line is nothing to be really messing with, right? They can score on anyone, and they've been shown to do so. So I really like that line there. Does look like it's the second line, obviously, which makes sense, right? Being on the road, can kind of play those matchups a little bit differently. So I definitely like that line for sure on the DFS side of things. Winnipeg also, looking at the power play numbers here, does have the edge over the Sabres in terms of the power play matchups. I typically on the DFS side really like to look at those power play matchups. Obviously, man advantages are huge, right, in leading to potential goals, especially on a power play that's as good as Winnipeg over the last 6 games. Looking at it here, they're cashing in about 34%. And looking at Buffalo, I mean, they're killing only right around 64% of those penalties that they're giving up. So solid matchup there. It's hard again. Tage Thompson and the boys on home ice, obviously they can score on anyone, but you're going to pay for them, right? The stack there is very expensive. So I don't mind looking at guys like Victor Olofsson on that third line. Should have a little bit of better matchup. He's still averaging 3 shots on average per game over the last 5. Dylan Cousins is there. He's playing well right now. He's 5.7K. Still gets you on that top.
Yes, he's still getting the top power play run.
Yeah, so he's still getting the top power play run there. Gets you some pieces of Tage and Tuck and Skinner and those guys from a different angle. So that's where I'm at. Overall, great game. Buffalo, numbers-wise, has probably one of the best matchups on the entire slate. So wouldn't fault anyone for playing any of these Buffalo guys, but you are going to have to pay. Yeah, you're going to have to pay for them. Hit on this question here from Tom in the chat. Tom, so where Tanner and I are referencing these numbers from is I put together a sheet every single day that goes over matchups. That is on the Run Pure Sports website called NHL Matchups. So it is a piece of material for subscribers only. So if you want to head over to runpuresports.com and check us out, we do offer packages, all sports, one price, ranging from daily or from weekly to monthly to yearly subscriptions over there. Again, great time. Playoff football about to start. We're in the best ball streets over here heavy as well. Get the Discord. So hop in. All sports, one price. Pretty great deal there if you want to check that out. But Tanner's article is posted on the website free every day. So
that's free.
If you go to the homepage, there's an articles tab, and a lot of, if not all of the articles are free on there. So you can go ahead and check those out there for you, Tom. But that's all I got on this game. Obviously, a great DFS game here. Buffalo's going to draw some ownership like they do every time. Every time they're on the slate at home. Overall, great plays. I tend to lean to Winnipeg side here, and I think Vegas agrees with me, right, with them being favored. But overall, solid game. Jumping into the next game here, I got Carolina heading into Columbus to face the Jackets. Carolina went on a stretch there, right, where they were kind of unstoppable, and now they're kind of tanking a little bit. They're on a 4-game losing streak, but they're heading into Columbus, and if anyone can right the ship, it's against the Columbus here. Korpisalo does look like he's slated to start here for Columbus. Tanner, Carolina minus 345 faves on the road here, which is pretty crazy. That's a pretty heavy favorite. Being on the road, but again, that speaks volume to a team that has 26 total points on the year in Columbus. Anything you got in here, I mean, even the puck line, you're laying 125 on the puck line here. So not too much from a betting standpoint that I can get from a straight up line picking matchups, but anything you see over there?
I mean, even for against the Hurricanes, I always mention them. The opposing goalie save props are always in play. But I mean, even right now, you got Korpisalo 31.5 for the over, and it's still paying only minus 130. So it's just there's not a lot here. I will say though that the Blue Jackets were one of the teams that helped get the Carolina to their 4-game losing skid. They lost in overtime last time they visited Columbus. So I don't think we're going to see that again, but just something to keep in mind. But yeah, like you said, there's just not a lot of value here. I mean, instead of the goalie prop, it's not even worth it. Team total, if you want plus money, you got to go out to 4.5. And it just seems like the Hurricanes don't score at the same rate that they shoot. So I definitely won't be on this one. You can definitely, I think, throw them into a parlay. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get value out of minus 320. You could even go regulation, bump it down to minus 210. But still, even something like that, I'm just not a huge fan of anything I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the betting side, I don't know if it's a great game, but from a DFS side, I think you can pick off these Canes pretty easily here. I think it's a pretty good matchup. I'm not sure how much ownership they'll draw, but likely they will get a decent amount, right? Being a 300-point fave, especially on the road. And their price tags are pretty reasonable. I really like that second line with Fetch, Nakis, and Stats. They're doing well. They're pretty reasonably priced, especially on DraftKings. So that's a nice little correlation stack there. That second line. If I'm looking at my numbers here, Columbus over the last 5 has allowed the second most shots per game on home ice. So on the flip side, Carolina is like we always said, right? Shooting at a brick wall. They'll just keep shooting, think they can score, right? So they're going to fire the puck. They're top 5 in the league, especially on the road in shots per game there. So I look for a couple of those to find the back of the net.
Payouts on these guys, like Nature's 3.5 shots. You're getting plus 125 for that over Svechnikov. You're getting over 3.5. You're getting even money on that one. So
I would hammer the over 3.5. Because Fetch
they're just teeing it up.
His last 5 games, he's averaging almost 5.5 shots per game over his last 5. So, I mean, you got a 2-shot buffer there almost, right, on that prop. So I like that quite a bit, especially at basically a pick 'em, right? Parlay that with some of these other things that we might find here, and that's good. Seth Jarvis is also cheap on the DFS side. He's got pretty good history against Columbus as well. He's 4K flat, getting top power play runs. So don't mind that there. Obviously, you can always play the toothless hobo there and Brent Burns. Obviously, coming into Carolina from San Jose after last season. He's been kind of up and down lately. He is pretty expensive, so not sure I get to him. But overall, do like these Hurricanes. On the Columbus side, you can try and pick some pieces out here. I would focus on the Roslovic line and Liney. Obviously Johnny Hockey, quite the story, right? For hockey.
I know.
Heading into Columbus, just on an absolute dumpster fire of a team. Feel sorry for the guy. He was one of the best. It probably still is talent wise, right? One of the best hockey players in the league. That's why he got the big deal. But just unfortunate for him ending up in Columbus. Not much you can do about it.
Not working out the way he expected it to.
And one call out, our guy in chat the other day brought up Bolquist. He is still 2.7K, getting. He scored a goal last game, and I kind of talked him off of it, right? Going elsewhere. But I mean, he is active. He's getting top power play run. So at 2.7K, you can definitely do worse than that. So don't mind him. But overall, solid game. Lean to the Canes side here from a bets perspective. I would look at some of these shot props on these Canes. But it's I can't grab myself to grab a puck line from these guys, reason. Or certainly not the money line, obviously laying that much juice. But further ado, we will jump into the next matchup here. I see we got the Toronto Maple Leafs heading into Detroit to face the Red Wings. Maple Leafs are looking good, right? They're playing well. They're on a 3-game winning streak heading into Detroit, who is coming off a win there. And they're not very heavily favored here in the Leafs. No. Minus 145, which is kind of interesting. 6.5 total here. Tanner, you see anything? Can we ride these Leafs, or can we take this dog money in Detroit? What are you thinking?
The Leafs are on my still do not play list right now, so I can't take them. They've let me down a few times, but I mean, yeah, the Red Wings have been not very good lately. I mean, Husso's going to be in net tonight, and I don't mind him at all. But I mean, yeah, looking at the sheet there, everything across their board is green. I mean, they give up the 6th most power plays a game. They're scoring quite a bit, but they're allowing almost 4 goals a game. And I mean, the way Toronto can, I mean, I know Matthews is a game time decision. So if he's in, that obviously changes the entire thing. They played well last time. I mean, Nashville's no slouch of a team. They gave them a good run for their money, but the Leafs came out on top there. I think the over sitting at 6, I don't mind that. I'm just trying to wonder how many. I don't know. I'd say Detroit can't score, but then last time they put up 7 goals on Hellebuck. So what do I know? Apparently, but right. Yeah, you're definitely getting decent payout here for the Leafs at minus 145. If you go to the regulation line, 60-minute line, I mean, you can get plus 105 on them. So if you're really confident they're going to get that win, you can definitely get even money on that. I don't mind that at all. Like I said, they're on my DNP list right now, so I won't be taking it, but I wouldn't fault anyone for going to them the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. From a DFS perspective, I think this is one of the best games on the board. Both sides of it, actually. Detroit's prices are very reasonable. Toronto can't stop the nosebleed. It seems like they're just outscoring their opponents. But, I mean, overall, I could see this game shooting out a little bit here. It is a 6.5 total. I don't like going over 6.5 really too much. But from a DFS perspective, Tavares is on an absolute heater since Matthews been sitting the last couple games. He's still very reasonably priced at 6.5K. Love him. Nylander, same thing. He's pretty reasonable. He's 7,500. He hasn't been as great recently, but his ownership might be depressed because of that. One thing, this Kale Jarnkrok, I believe is how you pronounce it. He is 2.9K if I'm not mistaken here. And he's skating on that top line. Obviously, line shuffles might happen, right, if Matthews comes back. But don't hate looking at him either. When he's skating on that top line in a matchup against Detroit at nearly min price, it's hard to ignore that. One guy in the Detroit side that I really like is Jake Wallman. He's 3,900. I wish he was cheaper. I was getting this guy right around 3K, 2,700 a week or two ago. But it's hard to ignore, especially in a game that I think is up and down, right? They're trailing. I like to target him quite a bit if this Detroit squad is going to be trailing. So I like him quite a bit as a defense there. And then, I mean, Dylan Larkin, you're going to give me a 6,100 Dylan Larkin against
Is that all he is?
Yeah, so it's going to be hard for me to ignore that. I mean, I think he's going to have to be likely. He might have to chase around Matthews, right, if Matthews is back. But if for whatever reason he gets stuck or gets off of the Matthews line, right? Where
they got the second change. They can
so at home, I think they can pick some spots off for him. I think Larkin has 2-goal, 3-goal upside here in this matchup. Looking at my matchup sheet here, I mean, Detroit's the number one scoring team on home ice the last 5 at 4.2 goals per game. The only thing is on the flip side, both of these teams are bright green and allowing goals respective. Toronto does have the better power play matchup, so that's where you can pull both pieces from both sides of this. Big Mo Sider is 4.8K. That's a great price tag on him for Detroit. So overall, I think this is one of the best games on the slate in terms of DFS. So I wouldn't fault anyone for grabbing any sides of this, especially Dylan Larkin at 6.1K. I mean, that's pretty criminal ownership there. All right. Anything else, Tanner, before we move on?
No, this should be a good original 6 matchup. I'm curious to see if Detroit can do it. They're another one of those teams that I just can't quite figure out. They play great hockey some days and just terrible hockey others.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. Appreciate it. Jay Steele in chat says, love the hockey love. That's why we're here bringing you the winners. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We are bringing you this Front and Center Ice show live 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, right here on the Runs Pure Sports YouTube channel for free for you guys. So if you can, drop us a like on the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. We have multiple live shows every single day bringing you guys winners for all sports over here. So without jumping in here, let's jump into the next game I'm looking at on the docket here. Another 6 p.m. game, 7 p.m. Eastern. Nashville Preds heading into Montreal here to face the Canadiens. Both teams coming off losses here. And Canadians are 150 home dogs here with these Preds. It's not Tuesday, so it's not the coveted Forsberg Tuesday, right? But what are you looking at here, Tanner? We're sitting at a 6.5 over under here. Puck line for the Preds sitting at plus 143. Anything you can think of here for the bet side? What do you got for me?
I mean, we didn't mention it last game. We definitely could have. This is another one that falls under our we're the away teams on back-to-back games here. So you go to those first period props. I mean, you get the Canadians. Actually, DraftKings doesn't have it up right now. But since they're the dogs, you just take them money line in the first period, and that first period over of 1.5, getting minus 145 for it. Like we say, that one's just kind of it's been a printer lately. If you don't win it, it's a very small loser because chances are one of them's going to hit. So that's definitely my favorite here. Is you're getting Lakinen. I can't remember how to pronounce their goalie's name, but for Nashville, but you're also getting a Montabol. I can't pronounce the French name.
Yeah, we call him Monster Truck over here on the DFS side. And one thing, if Chad hasn't figured out, whatever our pronunciations are is actually how it's pronounced. As our guy JT Hayes says, we pronounce it the right way. Whatever else you hear is incorrect. So we're just going to roll with the pronunciations that we give off. And yeah, that's what it's going to be, right?
So you might need a translator for a few of them, but yeah, with him in that, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see this game flying a little bit. I mean, neither team has been, scoring like crazy. Nashville has a little bit, but Montreal's been giving up a ton of goals, and we know they've been in a bit of a slump goal scoring wise. I mean, they're dead last in scoring in their last 5, averaging under 2 goals a game. But I mean, the Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, stuff like that. Like if you give them a chance to pop, they're gonna pop. I mean, Caulfield has one of the best releases in the game, so I definitely don't mind the over here at minus 115 you're getting for it. And I don't know, I think this is going to be a better game than maybe I can't even talk, better game than maybe the line suggests. I think I always like the Canadians on home ice. I mean, I say it all the time. St. Louis is a great coach. He knows the game. He knows how to pick and choose the matchup to get these guys the best chances to score. So as far as dogs, I don't know if I take the Canadians here. I think I look more at the prop side here. Like I said, the first period props are probably my favorite play for this game. But yeah, without Saros in that, I definitely think there's a chance for the Canadians to pop here. Maybe take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I don't hate that. From a DFS perspective, I think both sides in this one are viable. Cole Caulfield, Cole to go, as we like to say. I think he feels too cheap here at 6,400. I mean, he's shooting the puck right around 5 times per game on home ice, where I typically like to target him and Suzuki and Motorcycle. We like to give nickname there. But Kirby Doc is well up on that top line. So I think that top line is very reasonable priced and in a solid matchup here. On the flip side, the usual suspects here for Nashville, Roman Josi, Forsberg, kind of the top guys, Duchesne, And this rookie that they called up, Juso Parsisnian, I think is how you pronounce it. That's what I'm going to go with. He's 3.6K, gets that top power play run as well. Kind of centers that top line there with Forsberg on it. So he makes some sense. Pretty solid matchup. Looking at my matchup sheet, I mean, Montreal is giving up the most goals on. Let me see here. Yeah, the most goals on home ice at right around 4.5 goals per game last 5. So pretty much all of their matchups have been pretty well shootouts. So I don't hate that. Their last game in Nashville beat them 6-3, so 9 goals there. Game before that, well, it was 6-1. So wouldn't hate looking at potentially the over here. Not sure what the line is, but 6.5 goals. I think
minus 115 for it. I think that's a fair.
Yeah, so that's not mine. That's not terrible if you parlay it with some of these other ones. Maybe a 3-leg, 4-leg parlay or something on some of these other games. But from a DFS perspective, I think it's a good game. Usual top line for the Preds here. Josie obviously can be played any night. Did have a down game last night, and you could see the Preds coming in a little bit weak here, a little bit tired. They battled Toronto very hard last night, 2-1 game. I believe it might have gone to overtime, I think. But it was 2-1 against Toronto in Toronto. So now they head back into Montreal. They're on a 5-game road trip. This is the fifth night of the road trip here. So I could see some tired legs, and I could see the Habs kind of handle them pretty easily here. And pay off their salaries in DFS pretty easily. And then Leroy has, so Preds minus 0.5 in the first period. It would be the other way around. So
since they're the dog, though, you're going to have them plus 0.5 in the first, but don't take that.
Yeah.
For some reason, the line's not up right now. I don't know if they're adjusting whatever. You just take, in this case, you just take the Canadians or just the home team in general. Puck line here, you take them just money line, and you don't parlay it. It's separate bet. You take the first period total over, which is always going to be 1.5. You get minus 145 here. The idea is the away team comes in and they've got tired legs, stuff like that, like you were just saying, and the home team gets the pot one in there, and if for some reason the away team does get one in there, you get the first period over, and it kind of hedges your bet a little bit. We've been, semi tracking it for the last month or so, and it's hit almost every single time.
Yeah, so it's I had a little birdie tell me in my ear, very, very successful sports bettor in the market, very, very good handicapper, and hitting on that for you, Leroy. Basically what you do, any team that's on a back-to-back with travel, so like tonight, Nashville, right, going from Toronto into Montreal, even though they're staying up in Canada there, it's still road travel coming off a game, and Montreal, so you're going to want to take the home team, first period puck line, and then the first period over goals is usually 1.5. You place 2 separate bets there, and very rarely are you going to go 0-2, 1-1 at worst, and a lot of times you're going to go 2-0 there. So it's been an absolute printer. Typically, the logic behind it is, again, team coming in is tired legs. Usually a back-to-back means backup goalie in that. So you're just banking on that, and it's been very profitable this year. So that's where I would go for this. But DFS side, I like the Habs here quite a bit. And then obviously you can play the Preds as always. Jumping into the next game I got on the docket, and this one feels like it's going to be a defensive hockey game here. It feels like it's going to be a little foreshadow of a playoff hockey atmosphere. We got the Dallas Stars, our boy VIP here in chat, his boys heading into New York to face the Rangers. Looks like we got the number ones in that with Otter and Igor Shesterkin here for the Rangers. Tanner, talk to me. 5.5 total, basically lines of pick 'em almost. What do you think? Can you look at anything from a bets perspective? What do you got here?
I mean, I think this might be the most exciting 2-1 game we're going to see tonight. I mean, you just got 2 goalies who are just locked down when they're dialed in, just impossible to score on. I mean, 2 teams that can light it up, but their numbers aren't crazy. Dallas is averaging under 2 goals a game on the road so far. New York just over 3. But I mean, Dallas isn't allowing goals. They're not allowing shots. They don't take many penalties. It's just they're both teams are just playing solid hockey. So if you're giving me plus money, I'm personally not a big unders guy. If I like the under, I generally just don't even take the bet. It's just kind of how I am. I prefer cheering on goals, but I know some people do take them. So I mean, under 5.5, it is low, but I don't think that's bad at all. If you can get it at 6, I'd definitely be hopping on that one. You're getting plus 100 on that one. I think that's for sure a fair play right there. And I mean, if you look at Jake Ottinger too, going to his goalie props for his goals against prop, you can get under 2.5. You're getting minus 105. So I mean, even if the Rangers get 2 on him and it ends up being a 2-1 game, 2-0, or the Stars win, 3-2 or something, if it does get to, close to that overline, I mean, I don't see the Stars really giving up more than 2. Now that I say that, he's going to let up like a career high 6 goals or something like that. But if for minus 105, I think that's a great play for Ottinger's goals against under, excuse me. And I don't mind the under here. Just like I said, this could be a very exciting 2-1 game with a lot of chances, and you might see a lot of leather being flashed here.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Both number one tenders in net here. I think both make viable options on the DFS side, especially Igor on home ice. Give him a little bit of a nod here. One guy I did want to call out, Alexis Texas here. Alexis Lafreniere, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's the French guy that had that little A in the end there.
Yeah. So he's 2,600, going to be slotting in on the top line, top power play. I think you can grab some value pieces from this game. I don't know. I get to the studs in a 5.5 total on a 12-game slate. I just can't grab myself. Yeah, I can't grab myself, especially picking on these 2 goalies. So from a DFS perspective, grab a value piece or 2 here. Either one of these goaltenders makes sense. I lean Igor, especially at the they're basically the same price, 7,500, 7,400 here. I'm just going to side with the home tender here. In Igor, he's been great. So that's where I'm at from a DFS perspective. Not much else out of a value piece, one off, or either one of these goaltenders. So a quick one to get us back on track here. Jumping in the next game. I mean, this is going to be the chalk of the slate on the DFS side here. Everyone and their brother is going to be peeling to these Tampa Bay Lightning at home, facing the Vancouver Canucks, who can't literally stop anything, and now have Delia in net, which is basically an AHL tender here. Tanner, talk to me. Minus 267 favorites, 6.5 over under. Puck line sitting at minus 110. Do you have a bet here for me? Do you have anything? Talk to the people.
As always, whenever the Canucks are on the slate, the over is in play. They just refuse to play defense. I'm not sure if they don't know how or if they just don't want to. Maybe they're taking a stand against the coach there. But yeah, they don't at all. They're allowing the 4th most goals against, allowing over 4 a game so far. I mean, and Tampa is just completely dominating teams. They're scoring almost 4 a game. They're allowing less than 2, taking 37 shots. Power plays at almost 70% over the last 5 games. So, I mean, they're just absolutely clicking right now. And I mean, I like the over there as far as game lines go. You're never going to catch me taking minus 265 unless it's in a parlay, which I don't mind here. I think I took them with the Colorado, which we'll get to in a bit. But I mean, if as far as goal scorers, though, you're getting even money, even for the lowest odds for Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov. It ranges from, like I said, even money up to plus 115 for Kucherov. So, I mean, I have a hard time believing in this game one of those guys doesn't pot one, if not 2 of them, if not all 3 of them. I mean, like I said, the Lightning are just playing fantastic hockey right now, and the Canucks just can't stop a nosebleed if they're life dependent on it. So I think if anything, you go towards the goal props here. I mean, maybe you can go towards even like team totals and stuff like that. You're not getting a lot of value. Delia, you're getting minus 120 for over 3.5 goals against. So I don't like to do it when you go over 3 for the goalie prop, just because you do run that risk of the goalies getting pulled. So I try to avoid it at that point. But yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot here. Like I said, over is a great spot. Goal scorer props are a great spot. Maybe a few points here. Let me see what the player props are for points. I mean, going the other side, I mean, Bo Horvat, you're getting minus 140 for him just to record a point. So, I mean, I don't think that's bad value for a guy playing like that. They're definitely going to be showcasing him a little, because I'd be shocked if he's not on the move come trade deadline. He's going to be one of the big names that's moving. So, yeah, this should just be This should
Yeah,
be an
so
absolute barn burner.
I would be kind of hesitant a little bit there. He's only got 1 point in his last 5 games against these Bolts here. So he could be playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think Vancouver's going to have to blow it up. I mean, this team's an absolute dumpster fire all year
Yeah.
long. All the
Guys are getting
stuff
hurt
going
in
on with
practice and
Brock
everything. And
Starbesser,
yeah,
right,
it's
and
crazy.
everything. I mean, demoting him to third line, bumping him back, sitting him out, etc. I mean, this coach, he's just a donkey. And it's
With
just
who's in that, this could get
you
ugly.
hate to see it, right, for a franchise that has some studs, right? I mean, Brock Besser, Quinn Hughes, EP40, right, and Pedersen, Bo Horvat. I mean, they got firepower, right? And Demko, obviously, Demko's hurt, but I think he's one of the best goaltenders in the league. So
I agree.
it's just a struggle for me from a DFS perspective. I mean, this Tampa Bay first line, they're affordable. They're facing the Nucks. Everyone knows to target the Nucks. I mean, they have a bright green matchup on my matchup sheet. They're going to be chalk. It's probably going to be one of the highest owned stacks of the night. So what does that mean for DFS, right? That means if you play them, you got to figure out a way to get different, right, with your secondary stack or even with the stack, right? Go to the power play and leave off Kucherov or Hagel, right, and throw in a Stamkos or leave off Hedman or go to some of these depth lines, right, these third lines for Tampa here. But overall, it's hard to bet against Tampa in this spot. It's hard to go against them on the DFS side. I don't know if I get to them just at their ownership. I'm going to take my chances likely on a 12-game slate and just go elsewhere and let kind of all the chalk donkeys just eat this chalk here. But it is a scary fade. I mean, Kucherov is averaging nearly 20 DK points in his last 5 games. This top line's buzzing. So very interesting here. One of the great DFS spots on the slate. On the other side, EP40, Elias Pettersson. He's playing great right now, shooting the puck right around 5 times per game. Vaz, you can sneak some goals past Vaz. He has been better of recent, and he's allowing just 1.9 goals per game on the year. But I mean, he's shown some struggles at the beginning of the year, and if anyone could do it, it's Elias Pettersson, right? He's an absolute stud, incredible talent. So he's 7.1K, which is very cheap for him. I mean, we were seeing this guy right around 8K earlier this year. So don't hate that. But overall, I think the Bolts roll this team pretty easily here.
I will say Leroy pointed with something out in chat here for the first period for the Lightning puck line. I didn't even notice this before, but the Lightning, that prop has hit 7 of the last 8 games against the Canucks. DraftKings has it at plus 115. So ride the hot hand as far as
Leroy. I know
that's going back a few years since it's 8 games there, but still, I mean, hey, ride the hot hand, see if they can go 8 for 9 tonight. You're getting a solid payout for what should be a completely one-sided game.
Yeah, Leroy, we appreciate that tipping off in chat there about that bet. Definitely a good bet there and good read on that. Tanner, appreciate you bringing that up. Overall, yeah, great game. And we roll into a not so great game. We got the Minnesota Wild, my team here, headed into New York to face the Islanders. Both teams on a 3-game losing streak here. Gustav is slated to be in net for Minnesota. Sorokin on the other side for the Islanders here. Another 5.5 total, basically Vegas line at a pick 'em. Not too much I can see here from a DFS perspective. But Tanner, what do you got from a bets perspective? Anything here?
I mean, I got to give the edge to the Islanders here. They're giving them a pick 'em here, getting minus 105 for the Islanders. I mean, it's hard not to on home ice when they're allowing, the 32nd, I guess, best. I don't know how you want to phrase it. They're only allowing a little over 1 goal a game. Their penalty kill has not allowed a goal. I mean, they don't even take penalties. They're averaging less than 2 a game. They don't even allow shots on home ice, 24 shots against. It's just this team on home ice just shutting people down. And if you do get, of those 25 shots, those shots are going on Ilya Sorokin, who in my opinion is a top 3 goalie in the league. If not, I think you can make an argument for him being the best. So, I mean, I know it's hard to go against Kaprizov and all the stuff he can do, but I have to give this one to the Islanders on home ice. I mean, I don't know if I take Sorokin's goals against under. I mean, you're getting minus 105 for under 2. I think there's a fair play there, but I just think if you're going to take something here, just Islanders outright. They're great on home ice. But overall, yeah, kind of could be an ugly game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. From a DFS perspective, not much I can pull out of here. Both goalies, I think, are viable in that here. From the offensive perspective, I mean, Kirill Kaprizov is an absolute incredibly freak. He's a freak of nature. He can always be played on any given slate. I do want to note that last year the Wild did take both of their matchups, one at home, in New York. 5-2 first one at home, and 4-3 victory in New York. So obviously both of those go over this 5.5 total, but both teams are different here. Sorokin is obviously a step up in goaltending here, I think, from Greece ball, and I think Varley was with him last year as well.
Yeah.
But Sorokin, I mean, this team is just suffocating on defense. I can't pull really any pieces from here from DFS perspective. I think you can grab either goalie. I definitely side with the Islanders here on home ice. And if I were to grab any offense, I would definitely side with the Islanders just with that last change. They can dictate matchups. They have been – I mean, Minnesota hasn't been as great on the road defensively just because part of that is they can't dictate matchups as easily, right, and throw that act banger line on them, one of the best defensive lines in hockey. So that's where I'm at. Grab any Islanders. I did write up some of the Islanders, obviously, in the playbook that is on Run Pure Sports for subscribers. So if you guys are subscribers, go ahead and check that out. That is live on the website. But overall, not much I can get behind here. Let's roll into the next game I have on the docket here, jumping into 8 p.m. Eastern games. I have the Calgary Flames heading into St. Louis. St. Louis coming off pretty impressive wins. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Flames heading into St. Louis on a 2-game losing streak. But despite the losing streak, they're Vegas favorites, -170 here. Vegas has them at over/under sitting at 6. Tanner, any bets you see in this one? What do you like for me?
I think you can. I'm changing my opinion on things. I think you can finally take the Blues money line here. You're getting +145. I know it's tough to beat a team 3 times in the same year, which the Blues are going to be looking for tonight. You know, they took 5-2 in Calgary. They took the win the other day. I think last game 4-3 in St. Louis, and tonight they get Darth Vladar in that for the Flames. I mean, he's been okay. I mean, neither goaltender for the Flames has been very good. But I mean, Vladar is definitely the worst of the 2 goalies. I think this year I'd say they're about even. But I mean, you're getting plus money on a team on home ice that I, among everyone else in the world, thought was going to be garbage once Tarasenko, Krug, and who am I missing there? O'Reilly all got hurt. But it seems like that top line of Thomas, Kyrou, and Buchnevich, they've really come together, and they're lighting things on fire. Buchnevich has been super hot lately. He scored, or Saad, excuse me, is the hot hand. He scored 5 goals in the last 5 games. So, I mean, if you want to ride that hand, you're getting +285 as a goal scorer on a guy who's been scoring goals. So, I mean, it's a hot hand fallacy.
What is Kyrou's prop sitting at for anytime goal scorer?
You're getting 220 for him.
+220?
Yeah.
I would slam that. That's got to be one of my best bets on the board. I mean, he's
been playing so
He's
well.
got 4 goals in his last 3 games against these Flames, and he's coming off 7 shot on net 1 goal game 2 days ago against these same Flames. Now obviously plays them same exact matchup we saw 2 games ago.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what's up with not sure what's up with this scheduling here. But I mean, he's buzzing. Yeah, he's buzzing. He's shooting the puck a lot. I like him. I mean, you're giving me almost 2.5 to 1 there.
Yeah, you're getting great payout on
I would take that for sure. On the DFS side, I definitely like these Blues as well. That top line in Buchnevich, Big Bob Thomas, and Jordan Kyrou, I think make a viable lower owned stack in DFS. I don't see too many people getting to them. And like I said, we saw this last game pop 4-3. 5-2 the game before that, both this year. So wouldn't hate that. On the Flames side of things, Mikhail Backlund is on a heater here. He's shooting the puck about right around 5 times per game over the last 5. Hard to ignore that, and hard to ignore his production. He's averaging right around 15 DK points. His price tag is sitting at 4.8K. So don't hate that. Gets that second power play run. One guy I did look at here is my guy Blake Coleman, he had 6 shots in 5 shots, both matchups against St. Louis this year. He's averaging right around 4 shots per game right now. I'm not sure what his shot prop is, but I wouldn't mind the over there.
Who's that? Sorry, I was looking something.
Blake Coleman, for Calgary. He hasn't had he had an assist last game, but before that, he didn't have any points or goals. I could see him potentially scoring a goal here. I mean, he's 3K flat. Greaseball's in that for St. Louis, which
that's what I was going to say. That makes me like that a little.
Yeah, he's not as great clearly as Benny. So I wouldn't hate throwing some money at that. You're probably getting 3-4 to 1 roughly on Blake Coleman anytime goal scorer, and his overshots prop is probably pretty good as well.
You're getting 360 for Coleman.
Yeah, so plus 360. Wouldn't hate that. I think he definitely has a viable route to scoring a goal here, especially with Grease in net. And he's 3K flat on the DFS side. Doesn't unfortunately get any power play run. But I think at 3K flat, I mean, you're $500 over min price. Wouldn't hate that as a filler to round out your teams. But overall, lean to the Blues side here. Braden Shen is also cheap. Gets that top power play run too for the Blues with the injuries. So you can look to him. But overall, and another call out, is Kadri. I mean, Kadri's sitting at 5.8K. That's kind of criminal for his upside and his talent. I mean, we were paying close to 8K earlier this year, just a couple games ago. And again, he gets to face that same Grease, Thomas Grease in that is the rest of these Flames do. So don't hate him either. I think we can see some goals in this one actually.
Yeah, I mean, the over's sitting at even 6 right now. You're getting minus 105. It's hit that both times this season.
Both times this
year.
You're
getting backup goalies.
So
and that's
taking a look.
Yeah, I don't hate
in the last. So 1, 2, 3. So in the last 4 seasons, it's hit over in every one of their matchups that they faced. It's gone over 6 goals. So every single time it's pushed once. So I guess it's technically 5-1. But don't hate that either. So I think overall it's a pretty good DFS game here. Let's jump into the next one here. Colorado Avs. I kind of got a little heated last show, right? Talking about the Avs against against the Florida Panthers. Now they're heading into Chicago, which is been one of the best matchups in the entire league all season long. I mean, these Blackhawks are just absolutely terrible. And now to make it even worse, they don't even have Patrick Kane in the lineup, right? Patrick Kane dealing with an injury. I mean, Colorado still popped for 4 goals in Florida. I touted them pretty heavily. They still got the job done. It was kind of an ugly game, but I mean, it still popped off. Tanner, what do you got for me here? Colorado's sitting at minus 335 road favorite here. Just speaks volume to how bad this Blackhawks team is. Over under sitting at 6.
Gross.
You got anything for me in this one?
I guess maybe you could take the over. Maybe the Blackhawks got one. I mean, Francouz is going to be in that for the Avs, and he's been pretty buns lately. So I mean, maybe they sneak one in there. But I mean, as far as just outright calls, there's not a lot here. I think my favorite play of the night, I'm making the call. Evan Rodriguez is a goal scorer. You're getting where'd it go? You're getting plus 205 on it. I mean, he played great last game. He got hammered last game. I thought he was out, but he came back in. He had so many chances, and I mean, he's got one of the most underrated shots in the league. I think he can let it fly with some of the best of them. And I mean, he's getting that top line run, top power play run, and just the way this game's going. If they do get up big, I think he's one of those guys that maybe they sneak down into like the second or third line. He's going to pick up some more minutes over, McKinnon and Lehkonen and all that. So yeah, Erod plus 220 for Erod, or plus 205 for Erod to score. Hands down my favorite play here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue. And our boy Jared, congrats again. Shipped his second live final seat for the NHL streets over here. I mean, he's absolutely crushing. Just speaks volume to our NHL content. He doesn't even do content over here, but he's in the Discord helping chatting out and runs a lot of the social media here for Run Pure Sports. So congrats to him. Heading out to Colorado for that live final for DraftKings, shipped his second seat. And he's on the bandwagon that we're both on, right? Avs should absolutely crush this team. I like the Avs as one of my top stacks of the slate. It's no groundbreaking news, right? Everyone can probably say that as well. I mean, you got McKinnon, 9.3K, but if you're going to play him, you're going to fade some of these other chalk pieces, right? You probably can't play him with some of these bolts. You can't play him, obviously, with the Sabres and Tage Thompson and those guys. Mikko Rantanen, 7.9K. I mean, he's on a heater right now, too. Shooting over 5 times per game. Him and McKinnon both average almost 6 shots per game between those two. So, I mean, just from a floor perspective, that gives you a pretty solidified floor on DraftKings scoring.
I mean, just to point out how much they're shooting, they're getting minus 140 for McKinnon, 4.5 shots, which is
I would definitely not play that. Do I think
you're getting
he
the
goes
same
over
for
in this
no?
matchup?
You're getting similar for Rantanen. It's crazy.
Right, absolutely. So, yeah, overall, I like it quite a bit. Yet these Avs, obviously great plays. JT Compher as well there, 4.6K, second line, skates with Rant on that top power play. Like him quite a bit. One flip side, Lucas Reichel on Chicago. He's 3.5K, is coming off of a 4-point night or 3-point night against the Flames. He's 3,500 on that top line, second power play run. Don't hate him. I mean, he's only had 2 games this year. Obviously, he must be a rookie with the cane injury and stuff. They need to throw anyone out there, right, to skate around. So don't hate taking maybe a flyer on him or Max Domi's been all right.
Well, you're getting plus 400 for him to score. So
I don't know if he comes back-to-back goals right against these Avs, but it is Francois in that, so wouldn't hate it. But overall, yeah, Colorado, great spot. 2 games left. Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. We definitely appreciate that. It helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. And head over to the website, check out all of our content. Again, all sports, one price. But 2 games remaining. Let's go ahead and fly through these as we got another show kind of rounding us out here behind us. It's my Yotes, right? My Coyotes here with Ottawa traveling into town to join into this Cracker Box stadium here in this college arena. Yotes let us down a little bit last game against the Sharks. We were kind of on them heavy, lost 4-2, but got it done on the DFS perspective at their prices. Tanner, they are plus 135 here at home against these Ottawa Sens who have Talbot in net and also have not been great defensively and actually have been worse on the road than these Yotes. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I love the Coyotes at home. I mean, I'm not that screwed last time, but it's just the Sharks are a little bit better defensively than Ottawa is. Ottawa, they like to play, their offense forward. Their top 6 forwards are, I'd say, just about as good as any team in the league. So, I mean, on home ice, you're getting Vejmelka in that, and he stands on his head from time to time. Just absolutely saves the game. I was watching him the other night, though. One player to keep your eye on tonight. I mean, Clayton Keller, I'm not even sure he had more than 2 shots last game, but he must have attempted at least 8 shots, and he is flying all over the ice right now. I mean, you're getting plus 155 for him to score in a game. I expect this game to be closer to the over, which is at 6.5. You're getting minus 105 on that. I think the way he was playing, he was so due to pot one, and I think tonight's the night he gets one.
Yeah, what's his anytime goal score sitting at?
You're getting plus 155.
Yeah, so I like that. I love this top line here for the Yotes in general. Clayton Keller, 5.9K. Our boy Barrett Hayton was a legend, absolute legend for Jared, helping him ship. I had him as a core play, I believe, on the website. He did get a price bump from 2.7K. DraftKings was just drunk for a long time, pricing him at $200 over min price, getting top power play run and top line for these Yotes. But I don't mind him. Yeah, I mean, he's 3.5K. Don't mind him, even with the slight price increase. And Nick Schmaltz, I think he might be one of my favorite plays on the entire board. He's 4.7K. I don't see how he doesn't score at least 1 goal tonight against these Ottawa Sens. I don't know what his anytime goal scoring is, but whatever it is, I'm taking
Schmaltz getting 190.
Yeah, so I like that quite a bit. I mean, he dropped a 56 piece on these guys last season. 5 assists, 2 goals. I think we might see kind of a similar game. I mean, the last 2 games between these guys has 8 goals and 13 goals between these two squads, and that just shows you both teams can can find a way to score, but it's more of a lack of defense, right, than finding a way to score.
Right.
But it's hard to discredit this top six, right, for these Sens. Any of these top six are in play any night. They just fly around the ice. They have great, incredible talent in Timmy Stu, Claude Giroux, and Brady Tkachuk, and these other guys here. So definitely think he can play both sides of this. I'm going to lean to the Yotes here, especially at plus money. Love that top line for the Yotes. Jacob Chychrun as well. Don't mind him. I mean, the Sens are allowing over almost 2 assists per game to defenders. Cam Talbot's allowing over 3 goals per game, so don't hate these Yotes or the Sens here. I think this game can pop. And
it's going to be this one that goes over.
Right, absolutely. So that takes us into the last game on the slate here, Tanner. Let me pull it up here. I have Vegas at home against the Florida Panthers here. Vegas minus 115, Florida minus 105. So basically a pick 'em here, which is just kind of crazy. Game in Vegas, obviously 6.5 is the total. Panthers snuck one out last game against the Avs, which kind of shocked me a little bit. But what are you thinking of this one? Any bets you got for us, or what's your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, give me Vegas on this one. They're on home ice. They're getting guys back in the lineup, and I mention it all the time. Bobrovsky is going to be in net for Florida. He's been so bad this year. I mean, he's not the goalie they signed a few years ago. You're getting minus 115 for Vegas money line. I'm definitely going to be taking that one. It's hard for me to forgive Vegas what they did to my Pens the other day, but I guess I can in this situation. But yeah, I mean, with Eichel back in the lineup and all that, they can avoid that Barkov line, he's so good defensively. So I think that's definitely my play here. I don't know how many goals are scored just because Vegas is, I mean, they're giving up a decent amount of goals, but they are good defensively. And Florida hasn't been scoring as much lately. They're only scoring 2 goals a game over the last 5. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not going to be great. And a big thing here is that power play for Vegas. They're at 35% success rate. Florida's given up 4 penalties a game. And, I mean, they're at 80% on the penalty kill. But you get a team clicking the way they are, especially you have a guy like Eichel who's manning that power play. You know, he's one of the best players in the league. So, I mean, you give them enough chances, they're going to score here. And, I mean, Aiden Hill's in net for Vegas. He's the backup, but, I mean, he's got better stats than what's his name? I can't even think of the starting goalie right now. Logan Thompson there. But, yeah, this game just screams Vegas win to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more here with you. Vegas is another solid stack option, one of the best stack options in my opinion on the slate, especially that top power play. I mean, Big Jack Eichel's back, 2 games under his belt now after returning from IR, and now gets Big Bob here in that for Florida in a power play matchup that they have the upper hand in. And Vegas is getting healthier. Marchessault looks like he is back in the lineup tonight as well. Hard to go against this top line and top power play for Vegas. I think any of the top 6 really are in play. Any of the guys that are on those top 2 power plays, mainly that top power play.
I say Stevenson and Stone have got to be pretty cheap to pair together, and they're getting that second line run and they're on the power play.
So Stevenson, what is his price? Yeah, so he's 5.1K. Don't hate it. Think he's fine. Stone is 5.8K. He's fine. I still think I prefer that top line in Eichel, Marchessault, and Riley Smith. Riley Smith is sitting at 5K flat. I think that's far too cheap in this matchup. I just think I think he can score tonight here, and I think we see Vegas put it on him a little bit here. I mean, they won their last matchup here at home, 5-3. I think we kind of see a similar type game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Vegas drop 4 or 5 on these guys here and win this game pretty easily. So that's all I got. Tanner, we're going to jump into the best bets here. What do you got for the people? What's your best bet?
I said it once. Evan Rodriguez, anytime goal scorer, plus 205. He was flying around last game, a great back and forth game. I expect them to be all over the Blackhawks. So, yeah, plus 205, Erod.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and post it in chat here. Tanner, best bet. Rodriguez, anytime goal scorer, plus 205. That's going to take me into my best bet. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to my roots here and back to my Yotes, Nick Schmaltz. What was it? Plus 205, you said?
He might have been 190. Let me find it.
Either way, my best bet is going to be Nick Schmaltz, anytime goal scorer here.
Yeah, again, plus 190.
Plus 190, is that on DraftKings?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my best bet, Nick Schmaltz. But my hot take from a DFS perspective, I think that Yote's top line is one of the sneakier stacks of the night. Very reasonable price tags on there. Pair him with any of the other guys we talked about, and think you can round out a pretty good roster there. Any final thoughts for the people, Tanner?
No, I mean, I think DFS wise, if you really want to be unique, you just got to avoid the Avs and the Lightning. I know easier said than done, but I think you got to make a stand somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that's where the chalk's going to go, especially on Tampa. I think you can definitely play, like I talked about earlier, Cole to go and those Habs. I think they can get it done on home ice there. Definitely don't mind some of those Detroit pieces as well. Obviously the Yotes. Mix and match those guys and throw in some Vegas there, and I think you can build yourself a nice roster. As always, Matty Ice, myself, Core Plays will be on the website. Playbook is already posted. Tanner's best bets article will be posted here shortly. But that's going to do it for us today. We appreciate everyone tuning in and the interaction in chat. Feel free to click the like button on your way out. Make sure you do hit the subscribe button. But for Tanner, for myself, Nadesify, we are out.